Welcome to episode 721 of the 2-Minute Takeaway Podcast. Hi, I'm Motivational Keynote Speaker Ken Okel. Today I want to talk to you about performing under pressure, specifically being ready for a 3-second moment when you've got to get things right. Sounds kind of unusual. That is the world of people who do photography at graduation ceremonies. Recently, I was the keynote speaker at a conference for people who are involved in putting on commencement ceremonies at colleges and universities. Some of the vendors there are people who do photography at these events. I found out it boils down to executing a great moment in 3-second windows. And I thought about that because if you're a wedding photographer, that's a challenging job. But in theory, you could follow around a bride and a groom all day with your camera. You'll get some good shots. With graduation photography, you do have 3 seconds. Someone's name is called. They walk across the stage. They may receive their diploma in that moment. They raise their hands in excitement. Whatever they do, you've got to capture those moments for them. You don't get to rewind. You can't say, hey, could you go back a little bit? Let me get that shot again. Or think, oh, I'll just get the next graduate and say it was the other person. No, you've got to get it right every time. There's a certain level of pressure. That got me to thinking, what's involved in this and how could it apply to our everyday work lives? First off, you have to have a vision. These photographers need to think things through ahead of time in terms of how do they want the shot to look. If the ceremony is happening outdoors, how will the sunlight affect the shot? A shot could look great at 8 a.m. At 2 p.m., sunlight could create a problem. All of these things have to be considered ahead of time. For you and me, we show up, pull out the iPhone, take a whole bunch of shots. Some of them will be good. They have to get it right in that 3-second window. So you have to think about it ahead of time. Related to that, you have to do a certain amount of preparation. All of your equipment needs to be working. You can't have a battery die on you if you don't have a replacement ready to go. You have to make sure you're there at the venue ahead of time. You can't be waiting until the last minute to show up. It's all about taking care of all the variables that could impact your performance and making sure you're prepared for everything. And then there's the execution. And I would imagine for these photographers, a lot of this is about having mental stamina. Because commencement ceremonies can last for hours. You can't take 5 minutes off here and there or check your email real fast because there's always another student who is coming up to receive their diploma. You've got to be ready and attentive. You can't take breaks. You've got to be there and ready to go. Think about your world. Can you approach that level of commitment on your special days, on your important days when things need to be done right? Run through how things should be going and think about, do you have the vision? Do you have the preparation and do you have the ability to execute that vision at a high level? If you're not sure, and this is something where it needs to be done right, step back, re-engineer the process, make sure people understand what are the stakes involved. Executing under pressure when you need to get things right, it can be done, but you have to understand success rarely happens by accident. I've got some cool people for you to meet. Katie the custodian, Gina the ballerina, and 20 push-ups Pat. These are just some of the characters who are in my new book, Get Better, Smart Business Advice from Unexpected Mentors. The book is out. You can pick it up at Amazon.com. To find out more about the behind-the-scenes story of the book, go to my website, kenokel.com. And while there, you can also watch some clips from my speaking presentations and listen to past episodes of this podcast. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Ken Okel. Get better and take care.